Let's talk about the World Migrant Day. And let's talk about 40 million migrants in the United States. A few days ago, while preparing my participation in a forum on the Mexican diaspora, I received a message from a woman in Chicago. She wrote to me, "Dr. Juan, I've lived here for 28 years. I work, I pay taxes, I send money to Mexico, but sometimes it feels like we don't truly exist, neither here nor there." Her words stayed with me the rest of the day. She is one of nearly 40 million people of Mexican origin living in the United States today, a population larger than that of many entire countries, a population that sustains Mexico with its labor, its commitment, and its emotional and cultural ties. And one that this December 18th, the World Migrant Day, according to the United Nations, deserves to be recognized for what it truly is: an unprecedented human, economic, and cultural force in our history in the United States and in Mexico. Let's talk about the World Migrant Day and how it was established by the United Nations in the year 2000, by the way, the same year that Mexico elected President Vicente Fox. Well, that moment marked a turning point in Mexico's relationship with its diaspora. It was a period when the vote from abroad was promoted, programs like the 3-to-1 were strengthened, the Presidential Office for Mexicans Abroad, which I had the honor of leading, was created. The Institute of Mexicans Abroad, the IME, was established, and historic reductions were achieved in the cost of sending remittances, all during the Vicente Fox administration. These decisions acknowledge a fundamental reality. The Mexican nation is already beyond its physical borders. Today, the data confirms that the scale of that reality, the Latino economy in the United States, now exceeds $4 trillion, which would place it among the world's 5 largest economies if it were a country. That's what UCLA tells us. Mexicans and Mexican Americans represent the largest share of that growth, driving key sectors such as construction, healthcare, agriculture, commerce, technology, and education. All of this has occurred despite years of political rhetoric and actions in the United States and in Mexico, including episodes of stigmatization promoted by President Donald Trump, aimed at weakening or discouraging, at least, the presence of Mexican immigrants. In recent months, proposals have been surfaced to limit or eliminate the dual nationality and the birthright citizenship, measures that would directly affect millions of Mexican American families. Reality has proven the opposite of what a lot of people think. Their economic and social contributions have not diminished. They continue to grow. In addition, remittances sent to Mexico exceed $60 billion annually, serving as a lifeline for millions of households, particularly in rural communities and historically migrant-sending states such as Michoacán, Oaxaca, Zacatecas, and the Guanajuato that I so much love. Despite the weight and importance of its diaspora, Mexico has yet to develop a true state policy that fully recognizes its citizens beyond the national territory. The cancellation, for example, of the 3-to-1 program eliminated a mechanism that multiplied each dollar sent by an immigrant into this program and that was sent then into community infrastructure and development. At a time when remittances face uncertainty and cyclical declines, restoring a modern co-investment model is not optional. It's necessary. Well, let's talk about what's going on in the United States. Meanwhile, up there, there's a urgent debate, let us say, about millions of the what they call essential workers. Many of them who sustain entire sectors of its economy, the economy of the United States, without having legal stability. Legislative initiatives under discussion seek realistic paths to regularizing, recognizing these individuals that the U.S. economy depends on labor certainty and that human dignity must be at the center of any modern immigration reform. I hope you agree. This December 18th, I will participate in a digital forum alongside President Vicente Fox and the well-known journalist Pedro Ferriz de Con to reflect on this new reality, the true power of the Mexican diaspora and its capacity to shape the future of both Mexico and the United States. The question is no longer whether immigrants contribute. The evidence is overwhelming. The real question is when Mexico will fully recognize them as a strategic component of national power, and when the United States will provide the legal conditions that match their contribution. The woman in Chicago, the nurse in Houston, the student in Los Angeles, the worker in Nevada, they all belong to an extended nation that lives, works, and dreams on both sides of the border. This World Migrant Day, Mexico has a historic opportunity, and so does the United States, to look at the Mexican diaspora not with a distance or a condescension, but with vision, responsibility, and respect. The strength of nearly 40 million people is already here. The decision now is whether we will fully integrate that power or continue to ignore it. Thank you very much.